and say welcome everyone. This is the second in our Know Your Coalition series, which is designed for you, the State Association staff members, both presidents and member services folks, to learn what you need to know to effectively speak with your member colleges about coalition programs. And today we've got Doctums here, Joe Street from Doctums. If you haven't met Joe, he's quite the expert, and I'm going to let him take the floor and help you learn what you need to know to share information about Doctums with your member colleges. All yours, Joe.
All right, thanks, Nita.
You're welcome.
All right. So, as far as Doctums, for those that have not interacted with us at any of the meetings or had members that have mentioned using us, I'll give you the quick overview of what we do. So, we are a higher ed consulting company. We exclusively work within the higher ed ecosystem. Our goal is to make sure that institutions of all sizes, types, and geographies are able to make the most out of the technology that they have to improve their business processes and outcomes so that they can better serve the students and the overall constituent group, meaning the entire campus community, the alumni base, the parents. Make sure that everybody is getting the experience that that institution wants to deliver to its constituents. So with that, we work within pretty much every technology aspect or technology adjacent aspect of higher ed. So these are some of the service areas that we work within. You'll see on here change management. That's where we're helping institutions better embrace the technology that they are implementing or that they have recently implemented to make sure that everybody is adopting it. You always have those situations where something is put in place and no one really fully uses it. They want to keep doing what they were doing because they don't understand the benefits. Change management is a process of walking people through the benefit of making that shift to the new way of doing things. We do portfolio rationalizations where we come into campuses, help them review all of the software that they have in place, find duplicative software, redundant software, software that isn't being utilized, and help them find ways to save money or reduce their maintenance efforts within IT, the support levels within IT, so that they are better able to see the value of what they're investing in. We offer cybersecurity services as well. We have a partner that we work with, and I'll speak about them in a little bit, but we do offer cybersecurity as far as virtual chief information security officers. They are down to just fractional levels of a week. Those are typically very expensive people to have on staff full time. Through this service, you can meet the audit needs as well as the overall security needs of the campus by having a fractional person that is delivering a couple hours a week, doing your annual audits, helping fill out all of the different audit paperwork that you need to satisfy insurance and those different things. We also do executive coaching. So executive coaching is where we work with the leadership level within the institution on how to grow as leaders. And this could be any of the areas, not just IT. So while we do have a group that specializes with your IT executives and IT leaders, this could be the registrar, the head of HR. So it's all those different leadership levels, how to become a better leader, and also how to work better and communicate better as a leadership team. We've seen a lot of campuses that have done this where it started with one individual. People noticed the way that they grew over the course of a 6 to 9 month period. And the presidents have then said, can you work with the entire cabinet? And we've worked with them on how to better communicate with each other as a leadership team based on their own interpersonal communication styles. When you get into the governance area, this is really how do you manage the data that you have? How do you manage IT decisions that are taking place on campus? So this could be helping stand up an official IT governance or data governance team or committee. but it could also just be putting those practices in place that ensure that you're being good stewards of your data or making the right choices for the campus at that moment in time when it comes to procurement of IT. Over on the left-hand side, these are really the traditional, I guess, higher ed consulting, technology consulting services. So starting at the top, we have managed services. This would be your staff augmentation. So we are working with you to fulfill a role on a longer period of time. This could be a software developer. It could be a network admin. It could also be a registrar, a controller, pretty much any position within a campus that you need to have filled for a longer period of time. We also do standard staff augmentation where it's for a particular project with a very defined shorter period of a couple months, even up to 18 months if you're doing an implementation of something large. Then we reporting analytics. I'm sorry. I thought somebody had a question. Definitely feel free to interrupt me if you do have questions or I move too fast through something that you want to get a little more detail on. But reporting analytics, that kind of speaks for itself. How do you get out the data that you need to be able to make decisions? This could be implementing new reporting tools, making better use of the existing tools and dashboards that the campus may have. Process optimization. This kind of goes along the lines of being able to use the software that a campus has purchased in a better way, making sure that they're removing those manual processes or the paper processes that still exist. And then integration implementation. This is where you're tying software together through the integrations to streamline operations. And then implementation is helping with implementation of new software or a migration to a cloud or SaaS version of current software that a campus has. So I know that that was kind of a whirlwind of the services that we typically engage in. As far as how to help the members know when would be a good time to connect with Doctums, some of what you would be listening for in conversations or whenever you're at state level meetings and people are talking and just the normal chit chat that takes place where people compare their problems. What to listen for. I've got them on this slide, and I'll make sure that I share this with Anita and Lion so that they can distribute it out to you all. But a lot of it is where there's struggles with processes. People mention that they still are using manual processes to do X or Y, or there's still paper processes that they wish they could get rid of. They know they have too much software or duplicative software on campus. The teams aren't working well together. Maybe they have two people that just continue to clash in cabinet meetings. They're having trouble recruiting people for specific roles or teams or departments on campus. They've had a turnover on campus in a specific role. We recently worked with a college that they were on their fourth registrar in 3 years. We've actually placed a registrar with them for 9 months to give them stability so that they can really make sure that the next one that they recruit is the right one who will stay on campus for the foreseeable future. And anything related to audits around where they mentioned security findings, struggle getting data out of the systems or having systems talk to each other. So again, you'll be able to see these in the slides that I'll pass on to Anita. All right, so knowing what we do is one thing, but knowing why you should recommend that people work with us, why they should want to work with Doctums. First off, we are an agnostic company when it comes to our services. So the teams that work with campuses are focused first and foremost on helping campuses make the most out of what they already own, regardless of what that vendor or platform may be. A lot of times what you see are companies will come in and they have a mandate to try to push additional software from another vendor or their own software into a campus. We keep all of our teams separate so that when they are working with a specific campus, with a specific product set and goal, they're working on that and trying to maximize the value of that solution or that set of solutions. While we have partners within the higher ed ecosystem that we work with on their particular products to help with implementations, we don't bring that into the consulting services that would be doing what we spoke about on the previous slides. We tailor all of our engagements to the campus that we're working with. You don't, well, from Doctums, you won't see pre-canned scoping documents or one call and a quote. While it may seem like it's a lot of effort, we normally see multiple phone calls to make sure that what we are and meetings to make sure that we are delivering what is best for that campus in that engagement before we ever even deliver the price to do the work. Oftentimes people comment on how detailed we are in those scoping sessions, and that it's the first time that a consulting company is actually stopping and fully understanding the process and the problem that's at hand before giving them a price. And everything is outcomes based. We target in what the campus is trying to do and what they want the outcome and the experience to be for everyone on the other side. And that's where we start with. That's what we try to aim and deliver everything towards, not just meeting the hours that we quoted or the price that we quoted. We really want to make sure that everyone's getting the value out of the engagement and that we're being as efficient as possible with the dollars that we are being entrusted with to deliver these services. So I mentioned that we have partners within the higher ed ecosystem. So obviously we are partners with the Coalition and with the HES Consortium. We also have technology partners within this realm. One of them is CourseDog. So we are a services partner for CourseDog and help with some of their implementations, especially when it's more campus affiliated implementation work. Flywire is a payment provider, and they work with us to do integrations between their system and other systems. Accenture, they actually bring Doctums in whenever they need specific higher ed expertise that is outside of their area of practice, which is predominantly Workday. So if there's somebody who's moving from one solution to Workday, often Accenture, if they're engaged, will bring Doctums in to provide this expertise on the system that they are leaving. And then with TriVigil, this is the security partner that I mentioned. So they help us by providing skilled resources to provide those virtual chief information security officers, as well as providing security assessments, penetration testing, and other cybersecurity related activities that need to take place with campuses. And then Student First. Student First is a cloud native, so SaaS native, built in the cloud student information system. And they selected Doctums to be their sole implementation provider. So we do all of the implementations for campuses that are implementing the Student First platform. We are also an authorized reseller. If somebody were interested in changing student information systems, we'd be able to take them through the entire journey if they selected Student First. And then if people want to hear from their peers, here are a number of private institutions. Many of them are members of members of your organizations and therefore members of Coalition or HES. And we've worked with them on projects or actively engaged with them on projects. Many of these also are repeat clients of Doctums. So we've done multiple engagements with easily half of the institutions that are listed on this slide. So any of them would be willing to provide a reference for us if you wanted to talk to them, or if you have not already heard from them as members of your respective state organizations. All right, and I wanted to leave time so that we could address any questions that people had, or if there was anything that you wanted me to go deeper into.
Joe, I have a question. So if you
Sure.
go back a couple of slides, all those technology partners that you have.
Mhm.
So in my mind, if you're working with technology partners, how does that sync up with the fact that you're claiming to be technology agnostic?
Sure. So the way that we stay agnostic is that we make it very clear to them that we're not going to go in. So I'll take Flywire, for instance. So they're a payment processor. They're not the only payment processor that we work with. We also have relationships with other payment processors. And so we make it very clear to them we're not going in to sell payment processing systems to campuses. If someone tells us that they are purchasing Flywire and they want us to assist with some aspect that's out of scope of the Flywire implementation, the fact that we have that relationship with Flywire gives us a deeper knowledge base to assist that campus with. And Flywire will recommend Doctums when they're working with a new campus or an existing campus and they need skill sets that are beyond the Flywire consulting team. So the other aspect of that is what I mentioned earlier. The teams that work on specific partner engagements or partner technology stacks, we don't bring them into, we wouldn't bring a consultant from a different payment processor skill set in to work on a Flywire engagement, because that then opens up the chance for them to say, you really should be on this other one because that's the one they know. We'd really try to keep those walls up between the teams when it comes to situations like that, so that they're not in there undermining a different platform. You're really trying to work with what that campus has selected as their platform, unless they were to engage us in help us select a new platform type of project. Does that help?
Yeah, thank you. I have another question for you. If nobody else has questions, I'll just ask you questions. So going back to the last slide where you listed all the schools that you were working with, could you pick one or two of those? And I'll let you pick. I won't put you on the spot because I haven't given you this question ahead of time. But could you pick one or two of these and just tell us exactly what you did for them?
Sure. So, let's see. We can go with Elon University in North Carolina. So we've been working with Elon for over 2 years now. I think we are on our fifth project with them. We've done very technical projects with Elon where we helped them review all of the different security classes within their ERP system, which is the colleague platform, and basically go through and clean those up so that they were able to reduce the number of security roles into a more manageable level of, so I won't give the exacts, but say that they had 200 security roles, we were able to bring that down to a more manageable 100. So did project like that, but then now we've also worked with them on evaluating custom processes that they had from a procure to pay process. So selecting a product and a vendor to paying that vendor for that product. They built a custom application and work stream to do that. We worked with them to move off of that onto a a native included workflow for that same process within their ERP system, which reduced the maintenance overhead for IT, but also made better use of what they already had licensed in that product. Um, and now we're working with them to develop use cases to justify IT projects and investments. So taking the requirements that they gather, creating documents that capture that and present it as a true business case for the cabinet to then vote on and make decisions on what they want to invest in. Um, and for, let's see, one other good one, Naropa University. They were moving from a managed services provider. So they were using a managed services provider, decided they wanted to reduce the footprint of that type of work within IT. And so we came in and they hired a CIO that is now their CIO, but Doctums is now providing IT staff in a flexible model that allows them to have access to report developers, integrations experts, help desk, and sysadmins in a flexible model at half of what they were spending for a full-time team of managed services IT people. And they're actually able to get the services that they need with that flexible remote model using US resources from Doctums that they were not able to get previously from the full-time model that they had with the previous provider.
And how do you charge the schools for the work that you're doing? Is it a project, like a project charge, or is it an hourly charge?
It varies. It kind of depends on the project, the scope, and then what it works best for that college's finances. So for longer term projects, often it will be fixed fee payments over, monthly, quarterly, milestone based. It really depends on what that institution is comfortable with or makes sense based on the duration. For something smaller where it's building an integration or there's an unknown component, then time and materials as incurred, or even if that's the model that that institution prefers in general, we will do that as well. Again, everything is customized to the project at hand. It's not there's not a whole lot of presets when we come in where we say it has to fit in this box.
Well, one last question from me, and then I'll let some other people speak. Um, so, who is your main decision maker? I mean, clearly you're going to be working with the chief information officer on campus, but is that person generally the person to make the final decision about bringing in and using Doctums for a project?
Not necessarily. I would say that it's a fairly equal split in in we'll call it thirds, where it's the chief information officer or highest ranking IT, whatever that role may be, the chief finance officer, and the president. Um, on this sheet or this slide that we're looking at, I would say that easily half of the logos on here, it was the CFO who made the call. And then the CIO, it was probably almost half. There are two on here where the president was involved. And so again, those questions that I listed earlier are good kind of generalizations of things that you're going to hear in conversation or see in an email or a posting in a message board, whatever your state uses to collaborate, or at those periodic meetings where people get together in person, that would indicate that there is something there that we may be able to assist them with.
Thanks, Joe. Anybody else on the call want to pick his brain in this last few minutes that we have together?
Just touch on, I'm looking at the names of the different schools and not necessarily familiar with the different sizes of all of those different entities. But are you working with schools at all sizes, or do you have kind of a sweet spot of what size school you're working with?
We work with institutions of all size. If you look on here, Ferrum College in Virginia is right around 750 students, all the way up to Southern New Hampshire University, which is 20,000. You know, I would say that if you did our average, it's going to average with the average size of higher ed. So it's going to fall out in the, the 5,000-ish range, but we work with institutions of all size, and I have preferences on the size that I like to work with, but that's because of my background. But that's it's more of just I like smaller institutions often because that lets me get to know everybody that's going to be involved. But that's just me. We work with all sizes.
And that's why I kind of wondered,
Yeah,
who your IT group might be will vary differently in
it
the
will.
people it engages and involves. So that's why I wondered.
Yep. It's there's no rhyme or reason as to the size that we work with, and I know that the smaller ones you're able to get a little bit more ingrained. People are able to make a decision typically faster because there's fewer people that they have to go through to get permission. But I think that we all know that, that's how the benefits of being a private higher ed institution is that there is a little less oversight from a state perspective, things like that. You can make some decisions a little faster than some of the counterparts that are publics.
Joe, this is Lion.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of the people online here are responsible for putting together affinity meetings of maybe their CIOs or their CFOs,
Yes.
sometimes even presidents. Can you give us an idea of what topics, if they need expertise in a certain area for an affinity meeting, what topics you might be able to cover or give or speak to?
Sure. So we've done presentations, I guess, on collaboration within the leadership teams. We've just gone and done those presentations even at several campuses. It's not necessarily a paid engagement; it's just a presentation on how they could work better. Migrations to cloud providers at a non-provider level, meaning just talking about best practices and getting campuses ready to move to SaaS products without actually naming any SaaS product. That's one that resonates well with CIOs. And then, as far as process improvements, streamlining operations, that's been something that CFOs have asked us to speak to at some of their regional meetings, not necessarily state affiliate, but regional meetings. And we've presented out at several conferences.
I know artificial intelligence is a big topic these days.
It
And
is. I don't want to steal Keith's presentation, though.
yeah, I know, but Keith also works with Wes.
Yes. So artificial intelligence is something that our president has done some research on, and we did some co-research with Hess institutions on. So if that was a topic that anybody wanted to have us speak to, we'd be happy to do that.
Wonderful. Thank you.
All right, Joe, I have one more question just for my own benefit. So I
Okay.
hear SaaS all the time, and I know it stands for software as a service. Is that just software that you're paying a subscription to use and you're not buying a traditional software package that you download on your network? Is that what
It-
SaaS means?
Yes, that is what that is implying.
Okay.
All right. Well, I appreciate everybody's time today. If anybody has any follow-up questions, my email address is right there. It's joe.street@doctums.com. Thanks for joining me and giving me the chance to give you a little more info about us and what we do.
And thank you. And for everybody on the call, I'm going to send this out by email, and I'm also going to post it to a new website that I'll explain and give you the link to in the email that I send out. So thanks for hopping on today, and thank you, Joe.
Thank you.